Hello, everyone. I'm Cheldin Barlatt Rumer, and this is it. Welcome back to This Is It TV. I have a lovely guest for all of you. I'd love for her to introduce herself, her first and last name, and the name of her business.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today, Cheldin. I am Rachel Hersh. I am with Prestige Capital.
Okay, so we're going to talk about these uncertain times. Things have changed, and we've really had to pivot to be able to take care of our clients and our community in that way. But let's talk about the fundamentals of your business in general. What is the nature of your business?
Thank you. So Prestige Capital is a finance company.
Okay.
We finance businesses anywhere in North America, companies with a sales size of 1 million in annual sales up to 250 million in annual sales.
Wow.
And we also finance all industries. So
Okay.
that's very interesting for me as a human being to learn about every kind of company that's out there. And as businesses change, as technology came to the forefront, for example, really having a front seat to what's next in our world. And the nature of the financing that we provide is to fund companies' invoices so that they have cash flow and liquidity at all times, and also to arrange for purchase order financing. If they, for example, get a large order and they don't have the wherewithal to pay their supplier, then we partner with one of our finance companies and they help provide that financing. And we work as a team to do that. So essentially, I coined a phrase which I jokingly call we are an ATM machine for invoices. I think the visual is much easier to understand. People get a little scared about the finance words.
Yeah.
My background is sales and marketing, so I am also sometimes used to be afraid of finance words.
Right.
So if you understand that you can, for example, put an invoice through a machine and get cash out,
Yeah.
and that there's a fee for doing that, that is really the simple way of what we do.
And I think that that's an interesting fact in the necessity of business, right? So one of the biggest challenges, you're so excited, and in the youth of my business, the same. I was dealing with a lot of smaller companies, and I was so excited about working with bigger companies, and all I would pray for is that I had bigger companies and bigger invoices. But the interesting thing about that is that they're paying on the 60, they're paying on the 30, 60, 120 days. So your cash flow isn't the same as if you would really be working with mom and pop. So as you mature, the maturity of the way in which you do your transactions also matures. And so understanding the cash flow has always been one of those things that I think that has been so important as people pivot and grow their business. And are you finding that you're explaining that to people more often than not, explaining them the process of their cash flow and the necessity for additional funds?
Yes. So when I joined this industry 20 years ago, what I realized is that there is a financial product that very few people know exists.
Right.
Most people know that if I need to grow my business, I'm going to walk into a bank, but a bank really won't give you a loan until you're in business 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And then everybody thinks they have to run and get equity.
Right.
The truth of the matter is you should not get equity when you're a brand new business, because until you have sales,
Yeah.
it's not meaningful. And as a watcher of Shark Tank,
Right.
I actually do partner with Damon John, and I also partner with Kevin Harrington, who used to be one of the original Sharks.
Yeah.
And I partner with his team on As Seen on TV, who sends me a lot of their companies that they are, doing the video commercials for.
Yeah.
But essentially, until you have sales, why are you giving away a huge piece of equity?
Right.
So if you can grow your sales through having a finance company such as Prestige fund your invoices and then help arrange for purchase order financing, then there's no reason that you need to give away a huge piece of equity. Because as anybody who watches Shark Tank knows, Kevin O'Leary says, but where are your sales?
Right.
Well, if you have sales, everybody sits up straight in that chair and says,
Right.
oh, wow, I didn't realize that.
Right.
So that's what we work with. I work with a lot of growing brands. And I will say, like, for example, we financed about 6 healthy food brands in the last 2 months.
Wow.
A lot of them that grew rapidly due to the crisis, because everybody wants things that help your immune system, and healthy protein shakes and a healthy great Gatorade type of situation.
For sure.
And at the end of the day, these are companies that, were bootstrapped. They did not have equity, and they were surprised to realize that they didn't need it, that they could work with us, that they could grow in that way. And it's so rewarding over the years to have at Prestige Capital, so many success stories of brands that were not on anybody's radar.
Yeah.
And, they came to us and said, we want to sell to Whole Foods, but, we are going to get paid in 60 days and we have to pay the supplier in 15 days. How do we bridge that gap?
How do you?
And if I can buy your invoice the day you invoice it and give you funding immediately, not only do you have the money to pay, you can even pay early, pay your supplier early and take a discount.
Wow, wow. And I think so often we say on the show, you don't know what you don't know. And you said that this was a piece of financing that people weren't even really familiar with. As you navigate through growing your business and finding where you're going to get the support, a lot of people are taken from Peter to pay Paul. Paul's sick of them. Peter's not calling them back. And they're in that situation where they're looking, they have a great concept. They have people that even want to purchase their product or service, but they're having a hard time being able to your point, bridging the gap. And that's where you come in. So is it when there's a particular business or a business owner, do you sit down with them, explain to them the process? Talk to me about how the relationship begins.
Yeah, so I will say that one of the things I learned early on is the easiest way to find a company who needs money is to find where they go to when they need money. Therefore, I get a good 90% of my deals from bankers.
Wow.
So when I was, young and running around the city and all the boroughs and so on, I went into every branch of every bank and said, when you can't help somebody, how can we help them?
Oh,
and partnering with banks has been a wonderful partnership because they get a deposit account. We fund the client, we grow them, and then when they are ready for the bank takes over. And we call that graduating. And every June I send a graduation email. Clients pick up your diploma, you graduated up to bank financing.
Oh, I love
and it's a wonderful process, And so you ask about, how do I speak to clients? So I'm a people person. I love speaking to business owners, understanding what made you create this product or what made you realize there was a need for this service. And because I like to read, I kind of know about every industry out there because I'm a voracious reader. I'm curious about everything. And then, just talking to them about what's their path, also putting them in touch with strategic advisors as they're growing and as they're scaling to give them every opportunity that they have to succeed. So, cash is certainly one part of it, but you also need good legal advice. You might need a great infomercial. You might need to know somebody who can scale you rapidly because they have good connections at the retail stores. One of the industries we're funding that I didn't really know about until about 2 years ago is subscription boxes.
Right.
FabFitFun and Box Each Farm and Ipsy, and people are selling their cosmetics or they're selling their skincare. And all of a sudden you have an order for $1 million when you were a tiny little company. And, you're like, I wished for it. Now I got it. Now what do I do? And if you're lucky, somebody knows us at Prestige and somebody leads you to our door. And you are suddenly doing a huge order that you didn't even know a month ago that a company like Prestige existed. So I do a lot of speaking and writing on this topic to educate people. That's part of the reward of my job in sales. So I'm the sales director North America, and I create partnerships between all the advisors that companies would go to.
Right.
And being on this program is wonderful because A, you're lovely. And B, it's just a great way for people to know that, again, you don't know what you don't know. And that's what I'm out here to solve is get to know something you didn't know about before.
For sure. And I also, I think that you made so many amazing points, but one is that it's not necessarily just about the cash flow. It's about the resources that go along with it and being with someone who actually cares about your business and the industry and your role within it. I mean, I think sometimes, especially when dealing with money, it's completely transactional and you're not getting somebody who's really looking at the bigger picture as well as your immediate needs. And how do you navigate through it, and how do you have real conversations that may be uncomfortable but necessary to be able to get yourself closer to what it is that you want. And I think that working with you would be an absolute joy. So I want more people to do so. I want more people to get in touch with you, to follow, fan, and like you, and learn more about the resources that you can provide. Where would people go to find more information about you?
So our website is prestigecapital.com. They can find me on LinkedIn, Rachel Hersh. They can find us on Facebook, Prestige Capital. They can find us on Instagram, which is Prestige Capital. They can find us on Twitter, Prestige Capital. Maybe it's Press Cap. And they can email me.
Okay.
And my email is first initial R, then the last name Hersh, like Hershey Bar, Hersh, no C, at prestigecapital.com. So I'll repeat that, R Hersh, Hersh, at prestigecapital.com.
So no excuses. They can find you everywhere
everywhere.
in order to answer all of their questions and truly bridge the gap. So thank you so much for joining me. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, Cheldin. Have a great afternoon.
You too.
Looking forward to hearing from everybody out there. I'm here to help you. Reach out.
Oh my goodness. All right, so we have to connect. You have to connect with my new friend. I need to make sure that you follow, fan, and like her and reach out to her as soon as possible. From all of us here at This Is It TV, I'm Cheldin Barlatt Rumer, and we will see you soon. Take care.